Welcome back to the council. We are going to start our afternoon session with a proclamation from Councilmember Sales recognizing National Bike to Work Day.
Thank you, President Glass. Good afternoon, everyone, and to the millions watching from home. It's my pleasure to recognize National Bike to Work Day along with Chris Conklin. We also have Chris Conklin from Montgomery County Department of Transportation, Wade Holland with Vision Zero, and Peter Gray with the Washington Area Bicycle Association. I look forward to participating in National Bike to Work Day in Rockville. I know that there are several other locations happening this Friday. It's going to be a great event, an annual event that has been organized by the Washington Area Bicycle Association and Commuter Connections that will include 13 pit stops in the county for bicyclists to bike to work. The Montgomery County Department of Transportation is sponsoring 7 of these pit stops, so please identify one to put on your calendar. As the county's lead for eliminating disparities in public health, we must incentivize ways for individuals to bike to and from work daily. Studies show that biking to work has extraordinary health benefits and results in healthier, longer living. Further, cities that bike more are happier and have greater access to community resources. There are also concerns about safety on our roadways. While driving can be dangerous, a dangerous form of transportation, it is crucial that we do not become satisfied with using cars to travel to and from one area, especially when the travel distance is close. We must explore safe alternatives to driving, significantly contributing to the county's greenhouse gas emissions. We must also expand safe multimodal transportation, particularly in areas throughout our county with high rates of pedestrian fatalities, as we work towards sustainable 15-minute living. Projects like the bike lanes over on Old Georgetown Road shows that we can have protected bike lanes that keep people safe and minimize the impact on traffic while keeping people healthy and safe. We must work to keep our roads safe and spread the message that one death is too many. I would also like to recognize Elijah Moore, a 14-year-old boy who was struck by a driver in Germantown last week. We found out just a couple of days ago that he passed away. Moore was an 8th grader at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School, where I was a paraeducator, and he was described by those close to him as full of life and a giving child. It is in his honor and all those we've lost due to traffic-related incidents that we advocate for safer roads, protected bike lanes, and an equitable transportation system that accounts for the health and safety of all individuals. Before I turn it over to Chris Conklin, Director of McDOT, and Peter Gray, Community Organizer with WABA, to share remarks on the importance of Bike to Work Day to our communities, just want a brief moment of silence for all those we've lost. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Councilmember Sales and the entire council, for recognizing Bike to Work Day in this forum. Bike to Work Day is a tremendous activity for our department. Our office right now is filled to the brim with materials that are going to be distributed at Bike to Work Day this Friday morning. If you want to hang out with me, feel free to come to the Thomas Farm pit stop between 6:30 and 7:30 a.m. I'll be there, so I think it's light at that time of day, and it'll be nice to see everybody. One of the great things about Bike to Work Day is the camaraderie that's developed by the people who are biking that day and stopping at these pit stops and seeing other people making that choice as well, and being rewarded through conversation, some food, some giveaways, and a good time at each of these pit stops. At the last Bike to Work Day, I visited 2 or 3 of them, and it was great to see the sense of community at all of them. So I encourage you to bike to work on Friday and get and experience that, whether you've registered or not. And as was mentioned, we're staffing 7. There are 6 others in the county being staffed by other organizations, and that's part of around 100 of them region-wide. So you may be able to visit more than one in your bike to work. The other thing that I just want to make note of is there's a tremendous amount of bicycling infrastructure in this county, and a lot of it is unseen. If you're driving to work, you may not know that there is an off-road residential street bike pathway that can get you from the same origin to same destination. But when you plan your route on your bike and actually go to do it, you will find that you can make a tremendous number of connections on safe biking routes in this county. And if you do choose to participate in Bike to Work Day on Friday, I encourage you to look at the maps, the Montgomery County Bike Map, City of Rockville Bike Map, and identify that path before you head out. And you will find most likely that you can make a very pleasant and safe journey from where you're starting to where you're going. So thank you again, and look forward to seeing those of you on Friday that are in Rockville at Thomas Farm or at any of the other 13 pit stops in Montgomery County.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very, very pleased to be here on behalf of the Washington Area Bicyclist Association and our several hundred members and thousands of others who have supported safer biking and walking in Montgomery County. While I'm here with the council, first of all, I want to thank Councilmember Sales for her kind invitation to have me come and address the council and celebrate this proclamation. I want to ask the council, and I will do this more formally later on, that the council vote to make the road diet that currently is in place on Little Falls Parkway around the crossing the Capitol Crescent Trail, to make it permanent. No matter what plans Parks comes up with, we want this to be a safe crossing. We don't want a repeat of what happened in 2016 when a cyclist was killed crossing there because of the multi-lane threat, because more than one car lane in each direction. And it's been working fine for the last 7 years. We just want to have it work in perpetuity, and we think that the council should take a separate action to make that clear. The other thing, which is sort of more of a selfish thing as a bicyclist who came here today, it'd be really nice if there was bike parking in the county council's garage. I have made this request many times, so far unsuccessful, but I think that Matt Johnson of MCDOT would be happy to help the council set that up if only the request were there. Finally, I also want to thank the council for keeping the bike ped projects that had been proposed by the executive to be deferred. I'm really pleased that all those things are still in place and will be happening, including some pieces of the equitable investment proposal that WABA made last year that the council adopted in part, and I look forward to talking to you about that all next year as well. So thank you very much. I'm getting the hook, and thank you very much.
We wouldn't have WABA here if we wouldn't have recommendations before they leave. So thank you, Peter and Chris. So glad you both are here. Oh, this is for you. Come on up. Don't be shy. You guys come on. Come on, Peter. There you are. All right. So now I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas the League of American Bicyclists founded National Bike to Work Day in 1956 in order to raise awareness for cyclists as they commute to and from work each day, and whereas over half of all trips in the United States are 3 miles or shorter, making bicycling a convenient and effective alternative method of transportation, And whereas the benefits of biking include physical fitness, fuel savings, a smaller carbon footprint, automobile longevity, affordable and independent travel for those who might otherwise have restricted travel options, and whereas the Montgomery County Department of Transportation and organizations like the Washington Area Bicycle Association, Montgomery County Families for Safe Streets, and the Action Committee for Transit all work tirelessly to advocate for safe streets and bike paths for all residents to enjoy. And whereas Montgomery County is home to some of the most beautiful bike paths in our country, in areas like the Muddy Branch Greenway Trail, the Capitol Crescent Trail, Lake Needwood Trail, Sligo Creek Trail, Agricultural History Farm Park, Rachel Carson Conservation Park, Black Hill Regional Park, and Wheaton Regional Park. And whereas on National Bike to Work Day, we commend all efforts to increase bike ridership as a fun, healthy, and climate-friendly way to get to work. Now therefore be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby recognizes National Bike to Work Day as an essential day to promote the benefits of biking to our county's infrastructure, economy, and overall well-being. Presented on this 16th day of May in the year 2023 by myself and Council President Evan Glass. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Councilmember Sales and Peter Gray and the DOT team for that proclamation. We are now going to move on with this afternoon's business. First is a public hearing on Zoning Text Amendment 2303, Bethesda Overlay Zone Extensions. This ZTA will grant a one-time 1-year extension to existing deadlines within the Bethesda Overlay Zone. A Planning, Housing, and Parks Committee work session will be scheduled at a later date. Persons wishing to submit additional material for the Council's consideration should do so before the close of business on June 6th. We have two speakers for this public hearing. One is Mr. Jeff Zions, the Chair of the Planning Board, and Bob Dalrymple, who is coming on up. Chair Zions.
Thank you for the opportunities to speak. The Planning Board supports ZTA 2303 with a minor revision to clarify that the 1-year extension is to provide for an application for a building permit accepted by DPS to be consistent with the language earlier in the code section. The ZTA creates a one-time 1-year extension for the regulatory deadlines to have DPS accept a building permit application for projects within the Bethesda overlay zone that utilize BOS density. These regulatory deadlines are somewhat unique to BOS because they also apply to signature business headquarters and biohealth priority campuses. Our ZTA strikes a balance, providing some relief to the applicants currently facing tight financial markets and without undoing the intent of the deadlines. This extension was modeled after the APF and planning validity extensions the council has given in the past. The Bethesda downtown plan set a cap of 32 million square feet. There are approximately 4 million approved but unbuilt square footage, and 2 million that remains unallocated. And with that amount, we felt comfortable that giving the 1-year extension would not do any damage to subsequent applicants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Dalrymple.
Good afternoon, members of the council. My name is Bob Dalrymple. I'm with the law firm Selzer Gervich. It's nice to be before you. It's been a while. I had to put you into my Google Maps to find you. I've also provided written testimony, but just to supplement that written testimony, we represent Washington Property Company, who owns and intends to develop Hamden East, which is in downtown Bethesda, located about a half a block west of Wisconsin Avenue, and also bordered by Montgomery Lane, Hamden Lane, and East Lane. Washington Property intends to develop a mixed-use project of about 340,000 square feet of office and retail, and up to 150 dwelling units, including 17.6% MPDUs. There was a site plan approved for this project a couple of years back. We are here in support of the ZTA, but we are asking for you to consider the extension period to be 2 years rather than 1 year. As Mr. Zients already described, the facts and circumstances of the last couple of years have been quite challenging at best. With the pandemic and with the high interest rates and costs of construction, and the list goes on and on. We don't think that 1 year is going to be sufficient to keep alive projects that moved in good faith through the entitlement process, but have just been victimized by the circumstances that impact all development. The strict validity period in the BOS was intentional, and we understand that. It was to prevent hoarding of capacity. I don't think we're at risk of any hoarding of capacity, and instead, again, what we're doing is asking you to allow these approvals to stay on the books as approved. Otherwise, they lose everything and have to go back to the beginning. And literally hundreds of thousands of dollars have been spent on the costs of moving the project to the point where it is right now. Mr. Zients also indicated that this is modeled after similar extensions have been legislatively provided during tough economic times that mostly related to APF. I believe, and he will correct me if I'm wrong, as he likes to do, that 2 years is usually the minimum period for those extensions. So I think having you do 2 years rather than 1 year would be consistent with past public policy. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and thank you again for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much. I hope you put the council on your favorites for your map directions. But in all seriousness, Mr. Zients, this might be the last time you attend the council as chair.
It might, depending upon how we work my successor, which you're about to go into, I might be speaking on behalf of the amendments for historic preservation on June 12th, so it may not be the last.
And that's why I said might, and you confirm that it might or might not be, but we'll have more to say on that in a few moments, but thank you for your testimony as always. And with that, this public hearing is now closed.
Thank you.
Next is a public hearing on Expedited Bill 2323, Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Technology Transfer Matching Grant Program. This bill would redefine the term demolish and generally amend the law regarding buildings and building permits. An Economic Development Committee work session is scheduled for June 12th. Those wishing to submit additional materials for the council's consideration should do so by the close of business on June 5th. We have no speakers for this public hearing, and so this public hearing is now closed. Next is a public hearing on a special appropriation to the FY23 operating budget for the Montgomery County Public Schools in the amount of $4,973,500 for the Education Support Professionals Bonus. Council action is scheduled immediately following this public hearing. We do not have any speakers for this public hearing, and so this public hearing is now closed. Do we have a motion for this action?
Motion to approve.
Moved by Councilmember Luedke, seconded by Councilmember Juando. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Okay. And so now we are at the moment that Chair Zients alluded to just 2 minutes before. We are concluding a process that has taken months, and that is the process of selecting a full complement of 5 individuals to serve on the Montgomery County Planning Board. From last year, we sent out a call to residents asking them to step up in a time when we needed them, and more than 100 people offered their service to help us. And I want to extend my deep appreciation to Roberto Pinero, who stepped up and joined the planning board at a time we needed him. And his service over the last 6 months or so has been terrific. Everyone has said wonderful things about him and his thoughtfulness, but here we are right now, and we will be looking for and appointing a new person to serve as a commissioner to that planning board spot. And so, colleagues, I will open up any nominations people would like to make for a commissioner of the planning board. Council Member Friesen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just first wanted to echo your appreciation for Mr. Pinero for stepping up at a time of need for the county, for our community, for continuing the critical work of the planning board, and wanted to express my appreciation as well to him for his continued service in this latest role and many public roles that he has served in admirably. With that, it is my great enthusiasm to nominate Josh Linden for the seat on the Montgomery County Planning Board. Our county is really lucky to have opportunities for growth and improved quality of life for all of our residents. And I believe that Josh Linden is someone who will help us to seize those opportunities and to help us guide them to fruition. As a member of the Planning Board, Mr. Linden will bring a holistic mindset with significant relevant policy experience regionally and unmatched knowledge of best planning practices from other jurisdictions throughout the country. His involvement, for instance, with the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments Transportation Planning Board, Portland's Bureau of Transportation, and his current role with Burke Consulting have provided Mr. Linden with extensive experience in comprehensive plans, housing needs analyses, buildable land and growth capacity data analyses, and climate vulnerability research. Our county needs every tool in our toolbox to combat our housing and climate crises with more inclusive and forward-looking land use policies, and we need someone who understands firsthand the critical role that parks, recreation, and open spaces play in the health and quality of life of our residents and the economic vitality of our county. Colleagues, Josh Linden is uniquely qualified for this role and will make an outstanding new member of the Planning Board as a passionate, collaborative colleague who brings a vision that we need in this important moment. And so I hope you will join me in supporting his nomination and ultimately his appointment for this role. And with that, I will yield back to you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you very much, Vice President Friedson. There is a nomination for Josh Linden. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Balcom.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to second that nomination. I think it's a great opportunity to combine education, professional experience, as well as community engagement and community experience in the planning field. So I strongly second the nomination. Thank you.
Very good. Are there any other nominations on the floor? Councilmember Juando.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And we had an impressive group. I think we all agreed upon that, especially with this panel, but both panels. I'd like to nominate Carolyn Gallagher for the planning board position. She impressed me deeply with her knowledge of geography and Also just understanding of the community in a very deep way, and larger issues as a teacher and a professor. And I was really impressed with her work as an author of many journal and articles and books. And she's written about a range of issues that come before the planning board, but also has been a big advocate for Langley Park and for tenants and for DHCA housing policies. So with that, I'd like to put forward Carolyn Gallagher.
Okay, there's a nomination for Carolyn Gallagher. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Sales.
I would just like to echo the sentiment shared by my colleague. I was very impressed with Ms. Gallagher's responses during the interview discussion, the nuances that she shared, and given her extensive knowledge, not just within Montgomery County, but across the region, given her publications, I think she will bring a much needed perspective to the discussions that come before the Planning Commission, and hope my colleagues will join me in supporting this nomination.
Okay, are there any other nominations colleagues would like to make? Not hearing any. Nominations are closed. Any comments individuals would like to make? Let me know. Not hearing any. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll.
Councilmember Lukey.
Josh Linden.
Councilmember Lukey votes for Josh Linden. Councilmember Mink.
Carolyn Gallagher.
Councilmember Mink votes for Carolyn Gallagher. Councilmember Sales.
Carolyn Gallagher.
Councilmember Sales votes for Carolyn Gallagher. Councilmember Albornoz.
Josh Linden.
Councilmember Albornoz votes for Josh Linden. Councilmember Jawando.
Gallagher.
Councilmember Jawando votes for Galler. Councilmember Katz.
Josh Linden.
Councilmember Katz votes for Josh Linden. Councilmember Stewart.
Gallagher.
Councilmember Stewart votes for Carolyn Galler. Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez.
Josh Linden.
Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez votes for Josh Linden. Councilmember Balcom.
Linden, please.
Councilmember Balcom votes for Josh Linden. Councilmember Friedson.
Mr. Linden.
Councilmember Friedson votes for Josh Linden. Councilmember Glass.
Linden.
Councilmember Glass votes for Josh Linden.
Okay, congratulations to Mr. Josh Linden for his selection to serve on the planning board, and thank you to everybody else who put themselves forward to serve. There will be more opportunities to serve our public in the future, and I hope you remain engaged. Okay, colleagues, next we are going to make an appointment to serve for an individual to serve on the planning board as our chair. I want to again take a moment to thank Mr. Zients for stepping up when we needed him, for using all of the knowledge he had accrued here in his years of service at the council and has put it to good use for the planning board, the planning department, and all Montgomery County residents. So thank you very much, sir. I will open up nominations to colleagues. Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez.
It is a new day for Montgomery County and the Montgomery County Planning Board. It is with great honor that I nominate Mr. R.T. Harris to be the chair of the Montgomery County Planning Board. I have known Mr. Harris for many years. I met him while I was on the planning board, and he was vice president for real estate for the Montgomery Housing Partnership. While I was on the planning board, I closely watched how Mr. Harris interacted with the board and how he interacted with planning and park staff, representatives of different agencies like the Department of Transportation, as well as how he communicated to community members. He's consistently someone I will describe as calm, collected, very focused, and caring. This man is not looking for a headline. He's someone who wants to get things done to truly make the community better. On top of that, Mr. Harris is highly knowledgeable about planning, housing, and park issues, and how those issues impact economic development. He's someone who uses his intelligence and heart to achieve quality of life for people of every income level and from every walk of life. I have seen Mr. Artie Harris speak at community meetings on development applications, and that is not an easy task. There is absolutely nothing more challenging than having community meetings on redevelopment projects, creation of athletic fields, dog parks, road diets on park property, and even playgrounds. Mr. Harris is always carefully listening to people and trying to reach a consensus that meets our values. Artie Harris offers a strong expertise in the development of real estate projects and knowledge of the land use approval process, including commercial, mixed-use, market-rate housing, and deeply affordable housing. While most of his recent experience has been in Montgomery County, he also brings the perspective of having worked across the region, in the Midwest, and nationally, making his appointment even more ideal to chair the Montgomery County Planning Board, part of the nationally recognized Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. I am confident to say that Mr. Harris will be able to lead the Planning Board and work in a professional manner with the Parks Director, the Commission's Executive Director, and the Prince George's Planning Board to help continue the focus of creating communities where all are welcome, including providing a wide range of affordable housing options, amazing open spaces and parks, appropriate mobility options, and infrastructure to support a thriving business community. Furthermore, Mr. Harris' strong background as an executive is critical. He has supervised and worked with a large number of employees. This is vital for the Planning Board as they're tasked to find the next planning director. Mr. Harris' executive background is absolutely perfect during this new era of the Planning Board. We need someone who unites people, knows how to work with people, and has a strong experience hiring people in essential positions. Without a doubt, he's the one who will lead the search for the new Montgomery County Planning Director. With that, colleagues, I urge you to appoint Mr. Artie Harris as the next chair of the Montgomery County Planning Board.
Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez nominates Artie Harris to serve as chair of the Planning Board. Is there a second?
I'd like to second.
Councilmember Stewart.
Great. Well, first I want to say thank you to everyone who applied for the commissioner position and the chair position. I know this is takes a lot just to put yourself out there, and I very much appreciate it. I'm glad to second the nomination for Mr. Harris as Planning Board Chair. As my colleague just mentioned, he has a wealth of experience from the nonprofit to the commercial sector. He has also called Montgomery County home for over 2 decades. I've had the honor and privilege of knowing him and working closely with Mr. Harris during my time as the mayor in Tacoma Park. I know he is a fierce advocate for housing affordability, and I've also known him as a neighbor, and I know he will bring the needed skills and what we need right now at this time for Planning Board Chair. So I am happy to second his nomination.
Thank you very much. Are there any other nominations? Councilmember Luedtke.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'm pleased to nominate Hans Riemer for Planning Board Chair. And to echo what everyone's already said, we are really fortunate that we've had extremely qualified candidates put themselves forward for this position. That's not an easy thing to do. But I also want to recognize the special role that the chair of the Planning Board has, which is a position that requires content knowledge, policy experience, and experience in leading a public body. Mr. Riemer is the candidate who has that combination of experience. And importantly, Mr. Riemer has experience leading a body in a way that allows all perspectives at the table, even those he may not personally agree with, even those outright opposed to policy objectives that he may have. And I say that as someone who hasn't always agreed with Mr. Riemer's positions. Mr. Riemer discussed during his interview the importance of creating a setting where the important work can be done. As he noted during his interview, it's all about the agency and staying out of the politics, and that the #1 job was resetting the dynamics and putting the best foot forward, building a positive dynamic and supporting staff by listening, valuing, and respecting all points of view, and making sure that everyone feels that the work is being done in a fair and equitable way. This role also requires vision. If we're committed to providing opportunity and a high quality of life to those in our county who have historically been denied access to it, we have to embrace change.
Specifically, we have to be willing to fight for housing policy that provides more opportunity, not housing policy designed to preserve the status quo. Many of my colleagues here on this dais have been active and important leaders in that work. There's little doubt Mr. Reamer has been among the most active on this issue, and I believe he will continue that work as Planning Board Chair. But I also know that he will do so with full knowledge and understanding of the distinct role as chair, and feels passionately about making sure the council receives the best recommendations and advice possible to assist with our ultimate decision making. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, colleagues. Let me begin by just acknowledging and thanking Mr. Fosselman, Mr. Harris, and Mr. Reamer for your applications. Each of you were more than capable of doing this job, without question, and I would have felt supremely confident that any one of you would have led the Planning Board in the direction we need it to go in. Each of the respective finalists, through their professional, civic, and personal background and experiences, would have brought a lot to bear. I am seconding in the nomination for Councilmember Reamer, however, because I feel that he is uniquely qualified right now to be able to lead this planning board to the next phase of where it needs to go. Councilmember Reamer has been very innovative and a leader on a lot of complicated pieces of legislation, particularly around land use, that has been groundbreaking in many ways here in our community. He was obviously on the front lines during the development of Vision 2050, and he has been able to bring the community together on a variety of issues over many years in a way that has been very impressive and that I have seen firsthand. I first met Councilmember Reamer when we had lunch together at Mi Rancho restaurant 18 years ago, and I remember vividly the passion and the interest that he had in public service. And I can say, having had the opportunity to serve with him for 4 years, that passion has not only not waned, but it has expanded, and he now has the depth and experience, having been through many challenging circumstances over the last 12 years on this body, and I think that experience would serve him well in leading the planning board through, again, this next phase. So I'm proud to second the nomination for Councilmember Reamer as chair.
Councilmember so Hans Reamer has been nominated by Councilmember Lutke and seconded by Councilmember Albernaz. Are there any other nominations? Not seeing any other nominations. Nominations are closed. Does anybody have any comments? Councilmember Jawanda.
Thank you. Again, embarrassment of riches, as we said. Very qualified applicants. Thank you for everyone who applied. I think I associate myself with the comments that were made by council members Lukey and Albernaz. You know, everyone knows, the formerly constituted Fed committee did not always agree. But we all often came to understanding of each other's positions, and also had just an in-depth relationship with the planning board and the role that it plays. I think at this moment, former council member Reamer has the right skills at the right time to manage that body and move it back. I think he's also right-sized his approach. I was listening very carefully when he did the interview to say that the council is the one that directs, and my job is to recommend to you and to work and to support the staff. And I know, having worked with him over the last 4 years and knowing him a lot longer than that, that's his approach, and he sees this as his opportunity to continue to serve. So I'll be supporting him, but I look, no matter how it goes, I think Mr. Harris will be excellent and has demonstrated his capability and acumen and concern for our community over a number of years as well. So good options before us. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Friedson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to acknowledge the embarrassment of riches and express my appreciation to all three candidates. I think we had some great choices, and wanted to acknowledge two of those choices I have worked very closely with in different capacities. Mr. Fosselman and I have known each other for many years, starting at the state. We ran against each other in a very friendly but very passionate council race, and we have now worked really closely together in his role at the Regional Services Center and worked very hard to serve our residents very well. And I have seen how well he has worked with the community in particular in that role and as a partner to me and to our office. And Councilmember Reamer, as noted, on the previously constituted Fed committee, I worked very closely with, and certainly didn't always agree, but agree on a lot. And in fact, I think many of the biggest issues that we have taken on, particularly related to environmental issues and related to housing challenges, Councilmember Reamer and I worked on those issues together over the last 4 years, which I very much appreciate his vision and his passion and the way in which he approaches his work. Ultimately, I am going to go with Mr. Harris in this, but it was a very tough decision, and I do think we have some outstanding candidates, and I look forward to working with Mr. Harris and what he brings to this role, which I think is significant background, particularly in the areas of affordable housing and in the way in which those who he has worked with and who have come from different points of view have recommended him for this role, I think to me speaks volumes at a time when we really need to be working as collaboratively and closely as possible in order to tackle these huge challenges that we face. So really appreciate it. I want to appreciate and thank and acknowledge all three and look forward to moving forward. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I'll just close by also expressing my appreciation to all three individuals who I've worked with in various capacities. And Mr. Fosselman clearly knows all corners of the county, having represented the county executive and the communities, and those are certainly skill sets that are needed to bring us all together. Artie Harris and I worked together when I served on the board of Montgomery Housing Partnership, and I know he knows intimately well how to build and foster affordable housing. And I know that that will be something that we all need to triple down on here in the county, making sure that we have more housing that is affordable. And Hans Reamer, clearly someone who I've served with, who I've worked with in our respective communities, has been leading the charge in progressive land use policies that are being adopted in other places around this country. And for those reasons, I will be supporting Hans Reamer, but also just wanted to note that this was an extremely difficult choice, and I do believe that all three individuals would be preeminently qualified to serve as chair. Not seeing any other comments, Madam Clerk, if you call the roll.
Councilmember Lutke.
Hans Reamer.
Councilmember Lutke votes for Mr. Reamer. Councilmember Mink.
Artie Harris.
Councilmember Mink votes for Mr. Harris. Councilmember Sales.
Harris.
Councilmember Sales votes for Mr. Harris. Councilmember Albornoz.
Reamer.
Councilmember Albornoz votes for Mr. Reamer. Councilmember Jawando.
Reamer.
Councilmember Jawando votes for Mr. Reamer. Councilmember Katz.
Artie Harris.
Councilmember Katz votes for Mr. Harris. Councilmember Stewart.
Mr. Harris.
Councilmember Stewart votes for Mr. Harris. Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez.
Mr. Harris.
Councilmember Fanny Gonzalez votes for Mr. Harris. Councilmember Balcom.
Mr. Reamer.
Councilmember Balcom votes for Mr. Reamer. Councilmember Friedson.
Mr. Harris.
Councilmember Friedson votes for Mr. Harris. Councilmember Glass.
Hans Reamer.
Councilmember Glass votes for Mr. Reamer.
Congratulations to Artie Harris on being selected to be the next planning board chair of Montgomery County. And with that, I'm sorry?
We have a correction. We have to update, we have a correction for a public hearing. We need to reopen the public hearing, Mr. President.
Okay.
Can we read the? So it's for expedited bill 2323, small business innovation, research and small business technology transfer match and grant program. The description that we had you read was incorrect. This bill will modify the requirement to allow acceptance of applications under the small business innovation, research in the Small Business Technology Transfer Matching Grant Program on a fiscal year basis rather than a calendar year basis, and will generally amend the law regarding eligibility for the Small Business Matching Grant Program. We just wanted to correct that description. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that correction. That correction is noted. And with that, we are adjourned.